Seth Green is coming in today? That's pretty cool.
Not bad.
Seth Green from Austin Powers, Anthony.
Yes.
Family Guy, Buffy.
Of course, Family Guy. Who cares about Austin Powers? He's the voice of Chris on Family Guy.
Austin Powers?
Dude, he's the voice of Chris on Family Guy.
Yeah, but Austin Powers, it's great stuff.
And I think Chris is my favorite character.
Oh.
I went with the obvious at first, Peter Griffin or Stewie, but the more you get into Family Guy, Chris it's hilarious how stupid he is.
I've never seen Family Guy.
Family Guy is brilliant.
I heard
What
it's
is
great.
wrong with you?
Nothing.
And it's finally coming back.
Very funny.
Family Guy, I can't get enough of Family Guy. Like it way more than Simpsons. Yeah.
You don't know him as Oz on Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Screw all that. He's Chris on Family Guy, man. Can he just do the whole interview as Chris?
Yeah, that'll happen.
No, I think he's promoting another.
If you do the whole interview as Spuds Buckley, I'm sure he'd do it as.
I really.
I think he's promoting another cartoon or something, right?
It's a television show that he has coming out. That's basically it's animated action figures. It's called Robot Chicken, and it'll be on.
Wait, there he is.
Oh yeah.
I guess he's coming in next.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, then he can tell you all about it.
Yeah,
Kev says that with the same enthusiasm he had for the Gates.
I'm very happy to be
when he
the Gates. Everyone's making fun of him now.
Everyone.
The Newsday, there's graffiti on him. Look, the graffiti on the front page of New York City Newsday. It just says art with a question mark.
Cool.
Wow. And then there was a cartoon in one of the newspapers that said, "Yeah, this is great art. And I like your new clothes, too, Emperor." And it showed, like, I guess it was supposed to be Christo with no clothes on.
Yeah, let's get him in, man.
Bring him in, then.
I didn't know Seth Green was coming in today. I just found out. You could raise the mic a little higher than that. Jesus. Hey, what's up, Seth?
Our first real Hollywood star.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, let's make the medium legitimate. What do you say?
Please help us out there on that one.
Yeah, help us make satellite radio huge. Actually, it's becoming huge.
I actually just got given one of these systems for my birthday.
Really?
You did?
Yeah.
Which one did they give you? The MiFi?
You know what? It was a whole travel thing. It's got a...
MiFi.
Is that what it is?
The
It's
portable
a
thing?
stereo, but you can also put it in your car and whatnot.
Yeah. It's probably
Very
the MiFi.
So who's who?
Oh, that would be
Opie.
How you doing, man?
Good. That's Anthony. Italian guy, right?
And Jimmy Norton.
Hi. What's happening?
Boy.
Comic extraordinaire.
Woo.
You may have seen him on Last Comic Standing or Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn.
Or I watched like 2 episodes of Last Comic Standing. A friend of mine was really into it, and it was this weird episode where people had been excluded or they'd been eliminated and then brought back. So
yeah, they always pull that gag on the reality shows where they got to bring back the people.
Yeah, we liked the Last Comic Standing for the most part.
I like the first one. The second one,
Yeah, and then Norton's been on the Tonight Show.
Then they got greedy and tried to make a 3rd season right after. They tried to rush the first 2 houses, and just nobody gave a shit. So that was the end of that franchise.
Hey, I got why did you leave Buffy?
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because
for real.
I swear, because that seemed like one of those shows that you should just stay on.
He was expecting the Austin Powers.
Well, no. It's just I've talked about it before. But
okay.
What it came down to is when we were doing the show, it was a very unpaid show.
Really?
Because it was the WB, so the average person on the show for an hour long was getting the equivalent to a first-time actor's half-hour fee.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
really.
and I'd already done some stuff, and I was getting offered opportunities to do movies that were a little more like dramatically challenging. And I'd been on the show for a season, and what Joss Whedon and I had talked about happening kind of wasn't happening. Just it was time. My character was so much of a peripheral character, and they wanted to tie me into a regular contract, but it just didn't make sense for the character to be there every show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they would try to write me in, and I'd literally spend 5 days a week, 12 to 17 hours a day, waiting in a scene to say, I think Buffy's right. And I just got to a place where I talked to the creator. I'm like, I don't think this is what we talked about it being. And their hands were kind of tied as far as what they could give me to do, and it just didn't make sense thematically. But to take me out and have me be recurring instead of be a regular would have caused more conflict than to just kind of cut me from the cast.
Yeah.
So that was what we came up with. And I went off and did that movie Knockaround Guys, and then wound up coming back and doing 2 episodes. And it was never a hard feelings thing. It was just kind of making a decision as far as what made the most sense for me.
Yeah.
I couldn't even make dental appointments because I was so occupied and not doing anything all that creatively satisfying. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But that said, it was an amazing show that I had a great time with.
It's one of those
I felt
shows-
like it did a ton for me, and I got to play a part that I never would have gotten to play.
It's one of those shows where, like, my girlfriend, of course, huge fan of you and the show and everything, and it's one of those that
I like
guys,
that you say, "Of course," by the way.
like guys,
he doesn't want
like that's
guys-
the norm.
he doesn't want to admit
guys
that
get-
he likes the show.
guys get roped into shows like that. You got to admit it. At first, girls usually would watch the show, and then because you're there with your chick, guys watching go, oh, okay, Buffy, right. And then you start watching it, and you're like, who's that guy, and what does he do? It's like how I got roped into goddamn soap operas, you know? And then,
well, at least Buffy had cool fight scenes.
yeah, definitely.
They're not
Chicks
fighting on
and
soap
stuff.
operas.
It's pretty cool. And then I also she got some of the box sets, and the commentary is really really funny.
Oh, is
I
it?
listened to a few, watched a few that you were doing commentary on. Very funny.
Oh, thanks. I think I did one, but I got to do it with Joss Whedon and Martin Oxon, who
that's
were
the
both
one. That's the one I heard.
creators on the show, and they were at a place. It was like 6th season, and
Yeah, it was
I'd already
kinda
been gone
removed.
for 2 seasons, and they were really they were not quite bitter, but definitely reflective
It was
on how it
definitely-
had been versus what it had become.
It was commentary that wasn't very serious on it. You
Yeah.
guys were goofing on some of the aspects
You know, we
of the
hadn't
show.
seen each other in over a year, and it was just really great to kind of hang out with those guys again. So we just goofed off.
I think they should do commentary like after a little bit of time goes by like that, because then you get more of a perspective on what's going on. You're
Yeah.
not so serious. You know, you were kind of goofing on some of the storyline, the effects, what you guys were going through at the time, so it was
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Either that, or you get the Goonies commentary. I don't know if you guys have seen that, like 15 years later. Kind of a free for all.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's commentary on that?
It's great though. It's great, and even better is the Lost Boys commentary.
Yeah.
They went back and did like a special edition DVD, and it's got all this commentary from people, 10, 15 years later.
Like, how do you remember? It's like, I have no recollection about this scene or any other scene after it. Thank you.
It just gives it an objectivity you wouldn't have expected.
Yeah. Jesus Christ.
I've never seen Buffy.
You haven't?
You're obsessed with Buffy, I think.
No, I'm not obsessed.
I was excited you were coming in
dig
because
the show.
not because of Austin Powers, because you're Chris on Family Guy.
That's
man.
true, yeah.
Which, by the way, I was just saying is my favorite character on Family Guy.
Oh, thanks.
And a lot of people go with Peter or Stewie.
Yeah.
That's the obvious choices. But the more you get into watching Family Guy, and I got the box sets and stuff, Chris is by far the best character
Oh,
because he's so stupid.
I have almost nothing to do with that. They just keep writing me really funny stuff.
Yeah,
so.
but the voices, I mean, it's killer.
Oh, thanks, man.
You do a great
Do you
job.
even have to
bringing
go anywhere to do that, or do you just do it from home? Or?
Well, no. The best thing about it is that I can come in and do like 4 or 5 shows at a time. I just do my
nice.
cues and then I leave, and I love the show, so I get to be a fan. I never read the scripts. I just get to come in and do my cues.
So you
and,
do your lines and have no idea how it's going to be worked into the actual episode
Well, Seth
or whatever.
MacFarlane will be in the other side of the booth, and I'll be like, "What's going on here? This and this? Okay, cool. Hey, Dad!" And it's like. And then I just get to watch the show, so
It's a surprise to everybody.
And how long does it take you to do it? Like
it really
only
depends.
a few hours here
I've
and there.
had like 4 and 5 hour sessions where and you don't think that's hard, but you do like I did 10 shows and 3 pickups at one point.
Aunt and I can relate. Every once in a while, we have to go in a studio and do a live read for a sponsor.
Oh, 60 seconds.
Sometimes it takes us 5 to 10 minutes just to do one 60-second read.
Wow, it's my job, so I do have a good time in it though.
It's a ridiculous job we all
Yeah, that's
have.
pretty cool because I guess when you're watching a cartoon or something, you think everyone's in the same room and it's like, all right, you go, then you go,
We
then you
tried
go.
we tried that originally when
Yeah.
we first started the show. We were all in the same booth, but we would have these like 8-hour sessions for a half-hour show, and it just wasn't productive. And then everybody's schedule was so different. It got difficult to coordinate, and they've been amazingly cool about letting me do other stuff and still coming in and doing the show.
What's the word on the show about the censorship?
I don't know. It's an odd thing. I'm sure. Well, actually, you guys are on XM, so you probably don't have the same FCC.
No, but we could say we're a little familiar with FCC violations.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oops.
We could say the F word. We could say like fart and stuff.
Right.
Oh, stop it!
But it's gotten even more. It's gotten even more dramatic than that.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of a preemptive strike. They're fuzzing out the cartoon ass crack.
Cartoon ass.
But in a rerun too.
Yeah.
Something that already aired and
It
wasn't
aired.
complained about. But because there's so much attention on the show now, because it's kind of a miracle baby.
Yeah, it was
they're
gone
really paying
for a while.
attention. We got canceled twice.
Yeah, why did it get canceled? Because it never found its place, right? Ratings wise, because they threw it around
It had
here and
ratings,
there.
but it wasn't a moneymaker, and that's
Okay.
really what it comes down to. You got to take into consideration that all these networks are essentially corporations that have, assurances to make to their advertisers, and they got to hit certain quotas. And until the show got put back on Cartoon Network in reruns and started beating Leno and Letterman in late night programming, which is just a testament to Adult Swim's ability to reach people.
Yeah.
But it
I thought
all of a sudden proved to be a moneymaker, and Fox was like, well, maybe we should put this out on DVD because the DVD market was booming. It sold 1 million units.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it's this thing that people are paying attention to, and Fox is like, oh, maybe we can make money off of this, and admit that we were wrong and it was the wrong time, and have that oh crap insurance.
Mm-hmm. And now it's
Yeah.
coming back because of all that.
Yep.
Fourth and fifth season.
Fourth and fifth season.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is awesome. I love doing it. I can't believe I have that job.
Can you do a little Chris? I hate to put you on the spot, but
You guys are really a lot less attractive in person than I was expecting.
I love that.
And what are you working on now?
Is there a movie too? A Family Guy
I don't
movie?
know. I had heard that there was a directed DVD. I don't know exactly what the details are about it. They're very vague.
Because you talk about censorship, you do like a Family Guy movie, then you get to do a lot more stuff.
You never know. I remember talking to Trey Parker, Matt Stone, right after they did the South Park movie, and one of the things that they said was they just don't have the same restrictions on Comedy Central as they do trying to make a feature. It's a whole different contingent of people that you have to cater to. So,
Jesus.
not to bring y'all down.
Big Kev knew what your latest project is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was trying to explain it, but
It's tricky to explain, and I'm having to go out and do all this press, and I can't wait for people to just know about it. But what we're doing is a stop motion animation show, which is like the Nightmare Before Christmas style of animation, or that Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's that style of animation, but we're using all toys and classic characters and things that look like toys, and we're basically doing a sketch comedy show. It's a 15-minute send up of pop culture and current events and weird things and stuff that we think is funny, and it's all acted out with toys and stuff that looks like toys.
Wow.
But it's real short form. So we have sketches that are as short as 2 seconds and as long as 4 minutes, but it's so fast that even if you don't like something, it's over before you have the opportunity to hate it.
That's the key these days.
yeah, something they didn't realize on SNL.
Well, I grew up loving those shows, watching SNL, and Mad TV has really stood out as a great sketch show, and I did a bunch of stuff with the Groundlings, and I love that format and being able to do something this silly, this fast. It's really been a great time. I can't believe we get to make this show.
Does animation just take forever, though?
It does, but we've got an alarmingly reduced schedule. We've got people. The average, time for an animator is like 10 seconds a day, and we've got people turning in like 40 and 60.
Wow.
It's crazy. We have a 5-day schedule, which is unheard of. I was talking to this director who's shooting a stop-motion movie right now, and he's like, yeah, we got another 6 weeks. You got 7 minutes left. I'm like, 7 minutes? I have that banged out for you by Wednesday.
I got things to do.
I know.
The phones have exploded. Let's say hi to Tim in Jersey. Tim, what's going on?
Hey, morning, guys.
Morning. We got Seth Green in studio.
What up, Tim?
Hey, how we doing there, Sweet Cheeks Jimmy?
Hi, how are you, sir? Thanks for calling.
No problem. Hey, Seth, great to hear you on the radio. I've been watching your stuff ever since the Buffy days. I want to ask all the old painful questions.
Okay.
Just want to ask 2 things. One, did you get any ideas from that action team now that used to be on Kablam?
Oh, Action League Now, yeah. One of the things that you take a look at what they could legally get away with, but that show was a weird combination of stop motion and just like throwing toys around. I definitely watched it, but I think we're not doing that much of a linear story. It's just like the quick sketches and almost no recurring characters.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And second, in Hollywood, you find having a hard time finding roles being I'm a short guy, too, so, being a shorter stature actor
Well, I think
is
it's
a lot more difficult or limiting.
It's a hindrance in that I don't really see myself going out for the basketball roles, but most people, there's the best thing about acting is it's not what you look like as much as what you can look like, and it's real easy to fool around with that kind of stuff. Everybody always comes up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I thought you'd be taller," just because you don't have that perspective from, watching a movie.
Yeah, a lot of actors in Hollywood are short though.
Pacino's like 5'5" or 5'6". Suppose he's not a big guy. You'd watch him, you'd think he was.
Tom
5'11".
Cruise, he's. I've heard 5'6" or so.
Yeah, I think he's like 5'8", but I don't know.
5'8"?
I don't know. I haven't had too much of a problem. The best thing is the parts I like to do. It hasn't been an issue.
There you go. All right, let's go to Pete. Hey,
Thanks,
Pete.
man.
Pete.
Hey, guys.
Go ahead. We got Seth Green.
Yeah, what was the name of that movie, man, where you played Wiley?
Oh, Airborne.
That movie was fucking hysterical, dude.
Thanks, man.
I was talking to one of my friends. I was like, did you see that movie with Wiley? He was like, the one where he wore a Superman shirt and went down the street on rollerblades? He was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really silly movie. But I had just turned 18, and me and the entire team rollerbladed without parents in Ohio in a hotel for 3 months.
Yeah.
It was great.
All right, let's say hi to Sean in Philly, your hometown. You're from Philly, right?
I am. I actually know somebody named Sean.
Sean.
Hey, how you doing?
Do you know Seth?
Different Sean.
Yeah, no, not personally. Just I'm a fan of his work.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I just want to say, man, I loved you and Greg the Bunny.
Oh, thanks. Hey, we just did
show.
a bunch of we just did a special for the Independent Film Channel.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is more kind of what the show was supposed to be,
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That was it, really. But thanks a lot.
Oh,
Talk
thanks,
to you
man. Okay.
Italian Job 2? Is that what I'm hearing?
I've been hearing the same thing, but there's nothing real about it yet.
If it's on Internet Movie Database, it's got to be true.
Well, there's like a script written that went to Gary Gray, and I haven't seen it, and there's no official offers yet. So that's the kind of thing that could literally happen overnight or not happen for the next 6 months. So.
Did you see Mini-Me on The Surreal Life?
I did watch a little bit of it. And, I really like Vern, and we get on really well. That's a guy who he's got to contend with people approaching him in a way that's not necessarily normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's tricky enough, I think, being famous in any respect, but when you throw in the fact that everybody's got a very specific opinion of you or a lot of questions that might not be all that interesting, I think he just hears the worst stuff, and he just looked like he was having a real bad night.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the clip is just being played everywhere of him
I
drunk.
know. It's brutal, too, because he's such a great guy. So, I don't know. Everybody does crazy things I'm sure they wish they weren't filmed doing.
I love that Surreal Life, though. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it really is.
Did you guys see the original one when Corey Feldman and Gabrielle Carteris and MC Hammer and Emmanuel Lewis?
I saw a few of those episodes.
That was the best.
Yeah.
That was the best.
Good cast.
It was great.
I liked seeing you being filmed in that episode of Punk'd. That was a good one.
Wasn't that silly?
Which one was that again?
He was at a gambling party.
Oh, that was great. I forgot that was you. Yeah.
And they set him up and had a bunch of guys.
There's an amazing 45 minutes of that wasn't aired.
Really?
Yeah, but
the look when that cop came jumping through the window. The look on your face.
But it was so much more. Because they had told me. Well, the guy takes me aside and says, "Hey, I want to let you know that this party's going to be rated." About 30 to 45 minutes. And I had been invited there by a friend, and they insisted that I come, and I wasn't going to play. I was just sitting and having a drink, and Ashton, corrals me over to the table, and he tells me he's going to stake me, and next thing I know, we're losing $1,500, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm going to take a break. And the second I do, this guy brings me outside and is like, do you know whose party this is? I'm a cop. It's been under surveillance. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, and you're making me really uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And then he brings me back inside, and I'm thinking, okay, I've got about a half hour to get everybody out of here. And literally, as I'm trying to get my money off the table, a guy somersaults through the plate glass window.
Came flying through the window.
And the look on my face is quite literally, are you serious? Who's going to pay for that window?
Yeah, it was great. Good. It's all in the editing, though. No?
Yeah. I think I made out fine. I see some of the people on that show, and I think I came
Were you
off.
buying it right to the end? This? You
just don't imagine for any length of time that somebody would stage something that elaborate on your behalf.
Yeah.
And it all happened really, really quickly, and I had the second I got there, somebody handed me a tall tequila and orange juice.
Oh, there you go.
And then Ashton, when he tried to get me to the table, brought me over a double vodka cranberry, which I had finished by the time we got to the table. So when this guy brings me outside, I'm like, this is all very intense. What you give it? I don't know exactly how to take what you're giving me, but I'm awfully confused.
Was that in a hotel room?
It was in, and it was all these things that I should have noticed. It was in a hotel that I'd been in before. All of a sudden, there were mirrors everywhere, and I was like, oh, they remodeled. You just don't. And I'd seen like a truck with a satellite on it out front, but I had just filmed in there in that same hotel like a month before, so I just figured somebody's filming there.
Yeah.
When all the cops came in, none of them had guns. I said, oh, they think this is going to be a peaceful takedown. You know what I mean? It's the things that you think about in that moment are never, this is fake, and somebody staged it for me.
Yeah.
You just don't make that connection.
All right, let's, God, the phones have exploded. Jig in New York wants to say hi. Seth Green in studio. Jig, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Seth? I'm a big fan of you, Buffy, everything
thanks,
you do,
Jig.
man.
Thank you.
I just want to say, you're the one who should probably know this. Everybody's been wondering, is the Allison tape on the internet real?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Is there a theoretical Allison Hannigan tape?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's fake.
I would doubt it. I would really
fake.
doubt it. She and her husband are so private. Do you know what I mean? I would really doubt that they do anything like that.
It was actually, what I read, it said it was done on the set or during the time that the American Pie was being filmed.
Oh.
Yeah. And it showed, it's a girl that kind of looks like her at certain angles, but it's just not her, you know? I'm pointing it out yesterday. I'm like, no, if you notice,
you're an expert on
Allison
Hannigan.
has a very distinct widow's peak that kind of goes to one side a little bit, and this girl doesn't. And, like, I know, Mr.
Sorry to break your hearts, guys.
Yeah, well, no, this pervert over here was looking like, where? Show me. He's got something, too. How many of these have you seen? Kev, show me what you have. How many of these have you
Yeah, he's our
comic book
coolest
action figure.
He's our resident
guy.
geek.
And
That's
he's
Big
got
Kev.
But this was probably one of the more exciting moments for me because I grew up liking toys and action figures.
Sure.
We're looking at an Austin Powers figure.
Yeah.
It's just neat. I love that they made this. I didn't think the likeness was that great, but it was the first time anything like this had ever happened. I thought it was so cool.
You have to model for it and stuff?
No. They had a bunch of pictures in it. You know, it's the McFarlane Company. They're really good at making sculpts. Everything on it is super cool.
Yeah, I'm sure he wants you to sign that so he could profit from your success.
Okay.
Well,
Jesus.
The big question coming in is there
toys are something. Never mind.
Is there going to be another Austin Powers movie? A lot of people are asking that.
You know, there's just no legitimate talk of it right now.
It seemed like the last one was going to be the last one, but then it did so well that
it's one of those things, I think, where everybody has a real good time doing it. So it's a lot of fun to make, and if it's successful, then it's kind of hard to deny. But you don't want to get to a point where you're wringing a wet dish towel dry.
Right.
Do you know?
And I don't think Mike Myers has to dip back in that well. He's doing kind of okay.
He's real good about not doing something that he doesn't believe in. That was that whole lawsuit with him and Imagine, was that he got kind of tied into making a movie that just wasn't going to be
Oh, that was
in
the
his
movie
opinion.
for
Sprockets.
Yeah, Sprockets.
Yeah,
right.
but he just got to a place where he's like, I don't think this is going to be a good movie, and I don't want us to make this.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just imagine that if they have an idea that we'll make another one, and if they don't, we won't.
My friend's a big Austin Powers fan, and he's like, do you think they're going to make more? And I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I think everybody's the same way. You know, if they had a great script and they asked me, I'm sure I'd do it, but
yeah.
That's always been the consideration. I think we lucked out twice in a row, which is pretty amazing.
Jack from whackbag.com, one of our message boards, he writes, you have to ask Seth about the scene in his new show, Robot Chicken, where Jesus is dressed like the bride from Kill Bill and is lopping off heads of Hasidic Jews.
Now,
It's
hang
great.
on just a second. I mean, first of all, I'm looking for the Cartoon Network publicist because there's been such an uproar about this. But what we do is, you know, kind of an homage recreation of the Kill Bill trailer starring Jesus. And the whole thing is meant to be a joke, and it's some of the best animation that you'll ever see. But people are really getting serious about it and raising like a theological debate over the accusations of who murdered Jesus.
Gotta
and
piss you off.
We just have no theological affiliation.
Yeah.
It's just meant to be funny. Our whole show is just
can't
a
just
real silly
do
send-up of
things.
what we think are kind of clever juxtapositions. We really hope that people get the joke and don't take it so seriously. We're in no way trying to alienate any religious sect or say that this is the way history went or you should pray to this deity. It's nothing like that. We're making a 15-minute silly show about toys. I mean, it's just hard to
Wouldn't it be great if people just understood that certain things are just a joke and just for fun and not...
But you guys know this just as well from being on radio. You'll say something that you truly believe means one thing, and because you have a specific opinion and an objective view of the world, it's impossible to fathom that someone else would feel differently. But one thing that I know that I learned from this election is other people with completely different opinions feel exactly the same way. They're just as adamant about what they believe and why it's correct, and they're just as confused that you disagree. So I try not to be outraged, but I do try and put things in perspective and say, hey man, this is just meant to be really silly. I mean, we've got them fighting Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and Daryl Hannah. So
that's funny.
It's so not connected to reality in any way, shape, or form. And the Crazy 88 rabbis was just funnier than the Crazy 88 Romans. So just was.
Yeah, Chris Rock.
People do get that you're kidding, by the way. They do understand it, but it's just like an excuse to springboard to hear themselves talk. It's like when you want to break up with a girl, anything she does, you're going to find a reason to use that against her. And that's what it is. They know you're kidding. They know it's a joke. They're just using it to talk.
Chris Rock is going through the same,
Oh, with the Oscars,
the Oscar thing.
Chris Rock
it hit the
apparently,
papers again today.
A lot of these insiders, they say, at the Academy are pissed off at Chris Rock. They're quoting his stand-up act and acting like this is what he's saying to strangers on the street, talking about gays, talking about race and stuff, and the fact that only gay people watch the Oscars is what he said. So, I mean, and they're treating him like he's on CNN standing at
and that he's serious about what he's saying.
Yeah, it's his
that's reserved for Janine Garofalo.
Exactly.
She's terrific.
A guy like Chris Rock is only equivalent to like Lenny Bruce. This is a guy who says exactly what he means. He says a lot of things that people are thinking. He has a very astute commentary to make on extremely complex social situations, and people are always going to be bent out of shape by that. It's why Eminem is such a firebrand. It's because he's one of these guys that has a really compelling way of explaining complicated ideas to the masses. So people hear what he says, and that kind of enlightenment is frightening to people who disagree.
Chris Rock, though, doesn't go around all day acting like he does on stage.
No.
And I think to hold him accountable for what he does on stage, why not then hold accountable the people in the Academy that had made movies that star people that are playing racists or pedophiles? Why not treat them as racists and pedophiles if you're going to treat Chris Rock like he's a crazy person spouting stuff off in the street like that?
That's a really logical and kind of
a little too, I guess.
thought out perspective.
Silly me.
Most people are very reactionary.
Yeah, knee jerk all the time.
Yeah,
we see it here. I mean, we discuss things, and it's us discussing it and us bringing up our own opinions. But there is a bit of we do go over the top a bit on this show. But people tend to treat us like this is what we're like 24 hours a day.
But since people don't know you off the air, it's difficult for them to imagine you'd be anything different. But again, I get the same thing. If somebody sees me in a particular part, they start to associate that with me.
Full moon, they want to lock in a cage or something.
Yeah, or they see you on an interview saying something, and it gets kind of held onto because that's all people have to connect with.
Very cool. Psychopath.
So when you watch Chris Rock, though, you expect that. I mean, that's what the guy does. I get a buddy of mine's a huge Chris Rock fan, and he's like, well, that's just what he does. And I'm like, you think so? He's like,
But he's not, like, aggressively shocking the way, say... You get a guy like Tom Green, who the shock became his shtick, and he was not able to do anything outside of that, because even though he's a really clever comedian, people... Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman is a great example of the same kind of thing. You get so associated with a specific way of doing things that people can't.
Oh, when you saw that picture of him with the goatee and the long hair coming out of that mugshot, it was like, who is this guy?
Right.
That's not Pee Wee. I don't know who you arrested, but it wasn't Pee Wee.
That's finally out on DVD.
What,
the Pee Wee Playhouse?
Oh, I thought you meant the movie he was watching. No. That would be interesting to see. Yeah, right. Naughty Nurses or something like that.
With his commentary.
Oh, God.
This is a little strange, but we'll go to it. Johnny says used to hate Seth, but loves him now because of his appearance on the show here. I don't know. Let's see what this is about. Johnny.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Why did you hate Seth Green?
Dude, Seth, I thought you were like the most annoying little punk-ass prick for the longest time.
Oh, yeah, I get that a lot.
But, dude, you've gotten so much funnier, and just listen to you here with O&A, dude, you sound really intelligent. I just wanted to say cheers, man.
Oh, I appreciate that, that's very nice of you to say.
All right, cheers.
Thanks, man.
Damn.
All right, Seth.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's gone.
One of those bits.
It's one of our
Damn it.
things.
Now
one
I'll
of our
never know.
gags.
Now he's going to go back to hating me.
It's called Getting You.
Yeah, he got you. All right. Well, Seth, thanks for coming by, man.
Oh, it's a pleasure,
Definitely.
guys.
Okay, cool.
You know, I've had this really awkward thing of like trying to sell this show because my friends and I have spent so long making it, and we just think it's really funny, and I'm trying not to shove it down people's throat or look too desperate in the selling of it. So I just offer you that we made something we think is funny, and I hope people are into it.
What's it called?
Robot Chicken, and it's going to be on Sunday at 11:30 in between 2 episodes of Family Guy.
It starts this Sunday.
Starts this Sunday.
Well, our listeners will check it out.
Yeah, it's a real silly thing, and there's just so much in every episode. It's kind of hard not to find something that you connect with.
Very cool. Could you do some more Chris Griffin as you leave?
You're the worst.
I'm not as obsessed as you are with Buffy.
You got any topic?
I'm a fan.
Topic or direction?
The Improv in Houston, Texas.
You know, I had the occasion to go to the Improv in Houston, Texas, and when you know it, Damon Wayans was on stage, and I've always found him to be very compelling, even though I really don't like the show My Wife and Kids. But he did a couple of half hours that was mostly drinking, and I think he exposed himself, but I don't want to say any kind of slander.
And you can just add really fast the reason he brought that up. Jim Norton's going to be at the Improv in Houston.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't really for that reason, though.
Not at all.
But I hear crazy things happen there.
He's never fishing for a plug. Bastard.
All right.
Well, thanks very much, guys. It's a pleasure.
Seth, thank you, man.
Seth, good luck with the new project. Sounds interesting.
Thank you very
Robot
much.
Chicken this Sunday. Cool. There
Thanks.
you go, Seth Green.
See you guys.
As we take a break here.